Hey guys, Bethany here with the next chapter, and today I'm going to do my mid-month wrap-up. I've been moving at kind of a slow pace this month. I've had some family in town, and two of my kids had birthdays, and so it's been a little slower than I would prefer, but I'll sum it up so far. The first book that I read was Resistance Women by Jennifer Cavarini. And this one was historical fiction set in Germany, and it starts off taking place end of the 1920s and then goes all the way through World War II. It's based on three real women and their experiences in Germany during Hitler's regime. And then the fourth character was actually a fictional character that the author created to fit into the storyline so that we were sure to get a Jewish character's perspective. This book was actually really good. Part of it I listened to on a road trip, and it was great listening. It was really interesting to me. I actually got stressed out toward the end because I'm not familiar with who any of these women were in real life or what their stories were or anything. And so I did have to actually stop the book toward the end and go and Google it and see what really happened to them, because I was getting worried for them and needing to know what was going to happen in their situation. And of course, being World War II, not everyone's stories end up happy. And so I'm kind of glad that I found out a little bit ahead of time, took a sneak peek about their stories so that the ending wasn't a surprise. I just couldn't take it. The next one that I read was Tallgrass by Sandra. Tallgrass was set in Colorado during World War II in a town that had a Japanese internment camp. And the town was fictional, but it was based on a real town in Colorado. But all the characters are fictional. So I was actually hoping in this book that I would get more of the experiences of what was happening in the internment camp during this time. But what it actually turned out to be was a coming-of-age story for a young girl who lives in the town and how her experiences are affected by having this internment camp right there. And if I had to compare it to anything, I would say it was very similar to Kill a Mockingbird. It was definitely not the same caliber of writing. I was a little disappointed in that regard. But in terms of the coming-of-age story and dealing with racial tensions, and we had a little bit of a mystery in there, it reminded me of that book, had a similar vibe. So if you did like To Kill a Mockingbird, then you might check this one out. Just temper your expectations in terms of the quality of the writing. It was fine. It just wasn't the best thing that I've ever read. The next one that I read was Brooklyn by Colin Toybin. And I probably didn't say that right. I'm sure I didn't. So Brooklyn was about a young girl in post-World War II Ireland who comes to America to work. And honestly, I really, really wanted to like this one again, but it was a dud. I don't know how it won awards and they made it into a movie, and I don't know why. The main character was completely wishy-washy. There was no plot. There was no conflict. Anything that happened to her in the book was a result of her apathy or her indecision, or because other characters kind of forced it on her. She at no point ever really took control of her life. And then the author just kind of ended it. The book just stopped. And you're wondering what's going on, what happened, and why did I waste my time on this one? So definitely thumbs down on Brooklyn for me. Then the last one is Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe by Heather Weber. I did really enjoy this one. It was fun and enjoyable, and it was good light reading, and it's perfect for when you're in that mood for something that, not too heavy, but you still want to have a good time. This one is about a gal who, her grandmother dies, and she gets her grandmother's cafe in the will. But she goes back to this small town and runs the cafe and gets to know all the people there. And what's really fun about this one is this book does have some magic in it. So the pies that her grandmother makes and that she makes actually have a little bit of magical element to them where the person who eats the pie, then that night they will dream and receive messages from their loved ones. What this book actually turned out to be about was dealing with grief and family conflict and things like that, but yet it was done in a lighter way. There's nothing too heavy about it. There were some heavier topics, involving deaths, but it wasn't a difficult or heavy read. So definitely check this one out. I think when I go to my book club later this afternoon, I think we are going to have fun talking about this one, and there's definitely some things to discuss. So if you've read any of these, let me know. Did you like them? Did you hate them? What do you think? And as always, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss what's happening in the next chapter. Thanks for watching.